Let's move first to our navbar. Let's close this file, so now we don't need the store. The main.js login. Also here the user slice. Okay, let's keep only the navbar. So now we need to get the user from states, which is this user that we have here. And to get the user, we need to define variable. Let's add here const, and we need to get the user and also the token from state. And to get it from state, we use the use selector. And the use selector has state, as we have seen before, and state has the user. So state.user is this property that we have here, not our user, so this one. And from this state we get the user, and this user is the one that we have added here inside our store. This one, this user, this is the property that we have here, and inside we have the user. Okay, let's close this file. Let's first import, before we move to the next, let's import the use selector because we need it. Use selector from React Redux. Now we have the user and we have the token. First, what we need to do, we need to check if we have the user, we will display the currently logged in user and also the logout link. If we don't have the user, we will display the registration and the login link. Let's first start with this part. Let's check if we have the user, or we can do something without checking using the user. We have is logged in. That's why we have added is logged in. So we can use it to check if the user is logged in. Okay, the property that we have added inside the user slice, this one. Okay, so we can use it, and now it has true. So if the user is logged in, which means that we have true. So in this case, we will display the links for the logged in user. If not, we can use only nipsey tag and display the registration and login links. Now, as I said, if the user is logged in, we can do the same thing. Remove this part and paste here. Now we need to display the currently logged in user. We can use here the user dot name. Before we add the dot, we need to check first that the user exists, and we can use, I think they have an icon which is person, only person. Next we need the logout link, and logout we can use fill, let's use fill, I think fill down. And later we will add, so we will add the function to log out our users. Let's check here. As you can see, now we have some, and we have the logout link. If we refresh the page, we still have some and logout link. Okay, we are not losing our user. Let's also move the link when we create a task, so only the logged in users can create a task. Let's put it here and save. So nothing changed, everything is okay. Next, what we need to do, let's do something. Let's log out our user. If we click on this link, we need to log out the user. Okay, let's change it to a button. So we can click on the button. Let's save, take a look. So it's the same. Let's remove the 2. And we need to add the function so the user can log out. So we have already added the routes. The route is already here. Okay, so let's add our function. Let's go to the login page, copy this part and paste inside our navbar. So what we have here, let's change it to logout user, logout user. So it's in sync here. We don't receive events. We don't need here events. We don't have form validation errors. We don't have loading. So it will take us to user/logout. Let's change it to logout. And we don't send anything here. And this is a post request. Okay, because it's a post, so we need to send an empty objects. And we need to provide the token, okay? And let's do something before we provide the token. So we need to dispatch the action, which is the logout action. And this action doesn't take any param, which is the one that we have defined here, this one, okay? So we need to import it. Let's try to import it. Okay, it's here. Don't forget to import it. And once logged out, so we display the message and we can redirect the user to the login. I think we did not add here the navigates, and we can use the use navigates. Okay. Don't forget to import it from React router. And if we have anything else wrong, we don't have the validation errors here. So what we need to do, we need to console and log the error. And we can tell our user that something went wrong while login or while log out. Okay, something went wrong, or let's do something. Let's remove this. While logging out, okay. Okay, let's add while logging. So I think logging out, so log in, log out. So I think let's use only try again later. So something went wrong. Try again later. Something went wrong. Try again later. And here finally we don't have set loading. So I think that's all. So as I told you, we need to send the token because the user needs to be logged in so he can log out. So here we are using auth sanctum, okay? And to send the token, so since we will use the token in many places, we can do something. We can add another. So here inside src, let's add a folder. Let's call it config. And inside, let's add api.js, which is the file. And here what we need to do, we can do something. We can define a base or API base URL. And instead of repeating the same thing again and again, which is this part, so we can cut from here and paste here. So now we can use this variable instead. Next, we need to define another variable. Let's call it getConfig, and this one will be a function that takes a token, which is the token that we have, this one that we have here when the user is logged in. Next, we need to define another variable inside, which is the config. And config is an object that takes the headers. So the headers is lowercase. And headers is also an object that has the content. So the content is uppercase. Content type and content type in our case will be, we can use application slash JSON, and we need also the authorization, and authorization will take the bearer, and the bearer will have the token. Okay, so why we need so here when we send the requests, let's check here inside the header. So we'll have here content type will be application slash JSON, and we will have also a bearer, and the bearer has the token. Okay, so we will send the token also here. So we will see that in action soon. Just follow me. Now we need to return config. Okay, so now we have the get config and we have the API based URL. So now we can use it here instead of repeating the same thing again and again. Okay, so we have here, where is it? It's not imported. Let's check again. So it's not imported. Okay, let's do that again. Okay, let's do that manually. So copy from here, paste here, move to our, where is it? So this file is navbar, so we need to move to the config and API. Save. What else we need? We need also the get config, as I said. Let's move this down to be clear for you. We need get config, and the get config takes the token, which is this one that we have here. Okay, so the get config, let's use it also here, and you can do the same thing for the other. So for the other, what we have the home. So the home, we don't have any call here. So the other calls, you can change the routes, or the base URL, you can change it to this variable instead of repeating the same thing again and again. Okay, so let's try to log out our user. So let's move down. We have here our button. So once we click on this button, which is this one, on click or on click. So I thought that I am using Vue.js, so I am using React.js. So on click, once we click on our button, so we need to log out our user. Okay, to save, let's try to log out our user. Let's refresh the page just to remove if we have any previous error, but I think that we have something wrong here. Let's check our console. Doesn't provide an export, so I did not add export here. So that's why it did not import the API based URL and config when I tried to import them here. That's why. Let's refresh again and see. Now we have our user. Let's check the console. We don't have any error. Let's click on the logout. It takes time. Let's check. So toast is not defined, Axios is not defined, and also the toast. Okay, let's do something. Let's import Axios. So it's not imported. Let's do that manually. Okay, Axios from Axios. What else we have? We have the toast. Let's try to do that. Also, it's not imported. Okay, let's move to the login. Where is the toast here? Here is the toast. Let's copy and paste here. What else we need? We need also the dispatch. We did not define the dispatch. Let's paste it here. What else? We have the dispatch, and action is already here. We need also to import the dispatch. Same thing like we have done with the use selector. And I think that's all. We have imported everything we need. Let's try again. So log out our user, refresh the page, log out, and logged out successfully, as you can see. Okay, so let's check our user. Now we have null, and is logged in also false. Okay, so now what we need to do, let's move to our create task. So create task, create task or something else. I forgot. Let's check the routes. Let's check the routes here. So task create, not create task. Okay, let's move to task create. So as you can see, so even though I am not logged in, so I can access the routes. Okay. So we need to do something. We need to protect our routes because the code that we have done here or the test is not protecting our routes. Okay, so we are just tested if the user is logged in. We display these routes, not these routes, but these routes or these links which add create task and currently logged in user and logout button. If not, we display the register and login, but we are not protecting our routes because the user can access the create task even though he is not logged in. So what we need to do, we need to protect our route using a middleware.